What's up, everybody? Happy New Year again. It is 2018, Tuesday, January 2, 2018. I hope you have begun this brand new year, this fresh, clean slate, and it's going well for you as we are choosing to walk life hand in hand with God, because God has chosen to walk life hand in hand with us. He has chosen to enter into our lives and into our mess. So, if you recall, we're continuing to unpack Bathsheba, this fourth woman mentioned in Jesus' family history. And so just yesterday we talked about how, yes, Bathsheba is kind of put in this awkward, gross situation, but it's not her fault. She's innocent. She's ultimately innocent. And so the scriptures say David brings over Bathsheba. They hang out and Bathsheba gets pregnant. Word gets back to David that Bathsheba is pregnant. Now this is a problem because David knows that Bathsheba's husband, a military leader who's out there fighting battles for him, has never been home. He did not come home. He did not get away from doing what he was supposed to do to go hang out with his wife. He's out taking great risks, fighting battles for David. And so here is a struggle. David knows, this is not going to be good. He's going to get caught. Word will come back and David will get caught. He realizes this. So he has to come up with some sort of plan. So David decides to bring Uriah back, bring him home, have him go hang out with Bathsheba. They will hang out, and then when Bathsheba is pregnant, everyone will think that it's Uriah's and not David's, and everybody will live happily ever after. But we learn something about Uriah. Uriah, Bathsheba's husband, is a man of huge integrity. His morality and ethics is just stellar. And his character is solid. As much as David wants to try and get Uriah back to go hang out with his wife so that when the pregnancy comes out, everyone assumes it's Uriah's, and so there isn't any scandal with David, or including David the king. Uriah comes back and he says, listen, I have men out there fighting. I have men on a field. They're not home. They're not eating, amazing food and drinking wine and hanging out with their wives. How can I, one of their brothers, be okay with doing that? And this is kind of a direct jab, I think, at King David, because Uriah knows, David, you should be out there with us fighting, but you're not. You're not taking these risks. You're not roughing it with us. You're back here in the palace. And so Uriah's listen, I am a man of character. My men are out there. They're not at home, enjoying their homes or enjoying their lives, so I'm not going to either. And so David tries. He tries to bring Uriah down to his level. He tries to get him drunk and all these things, but Uriah stays solid and he never goes to his house. And so now David's plan isn't going to work. Bathsheba's still pregnant, but Uriah never went to hang out with her. So the scandal, the story, it's gonna come out. So David's plan didn't work. Uriah is a man of character, of morals and ethics, and so he does the right thing when his king didn't. And so what does the king decide to do? What does David do with Uriah, this guy of great integrity and character? He writes a message to the commander, to the leader of Uriah, that Uriah hand delivers. And so basically Uriah delivers his own death sentence, and the note says, send Uriah out to the front of the battle. Wherever the battle is the worst, wherever people are most likely gonna die, send Uriah there. Put him on the very front, and then when he's there and the battle is happening and it's getting intense, pull your men back, pull Uriah out there on the field, leave him for dead. David straight up comes up with a plan to murder Uriah, someone who was doing the right thing, someone of integrity and character, and the plan works. Uriah is sent out there in battle. He's at the very front where the harshest of battle conditions were going on, and then the men pulled back, and I don't know what was flashing through Uriah's mind. I think one day in the kingdom we'll meet Uriah, and that will be an interesting conversation. Can you imagine that? Like, we're walking in the kingdom, and then you see like King David, and you're like, go over like, David, like, for real? You start talking about how big was Goliath, or the stones. Did you really know what you were doing, or whatever? And so you're talking to David, and then like Uriah walks up, and then they kind of meet. That's going to be a really awkward and awesome conversation I really hope I get to be a part of. So Uriah, he's out there in the battle. He looks back. The men are leaving him, are deserting him, and then he dies. When Uriah dies, then David makes his move, brings over Bathsheba, and marries her. Point is, Uriah did nothing wrong. In fact, Uriah did everything right, and he got killed for it. So here's the thing. If in 2017 you felt like the year was just unfair, you felt like you tried to do what you knew you were supposed to do, you tried to make the right choices when others weren't, you tried to tell the truth when others lied, you tried to make the healthy, the right, good choice when others didn't, but yet perhaps the others were doing just fine and nothing happened to them, but maybe stuff happened to you, and maybe in 2017 you were like, dude, life isn't fair. Well, to you, who thinks that things happened in 2017 and it wasn't fair, Jesus says, I'm choosing to enter into, to identify with a family who's connected to Uriah's wife. Now, Bathsheba, again, I feel like it's totally innocent, but Bathsheba's name isn't in there. There's this mention to highlight Uriah. It's like God recognizes, yeah, sometimes injustice happens. Sometimes people are not rewarded for doing right. In fact, sometimes people are persecuted and pain happens to them and they die. But Jesus notices. He recognizes, and he chose this family, as messy and awkward as it is, and he identifies. So if you have felt this way, if you have felt like a Uriah in 2017-18, have courage. We have a God that chooses us and wants to walk alongside us.